Hello and welcome to Flory Models Kit Review Time. Today we've got the legendary 1/24 scale. This is the Vintage Fighter Collections P-47D. So this particular kit has been around a few years now. It's first released in around about 2008 or 2008. And then Kinetic had a rebox of it roughly in around about 2015, I think it was, 2014, 2015. They had it for a short spell. And to be honest, that's when I got the kit. I managed to get the Razorback version back then, and in fact I did a review of it back in the day. But I always wanted to do the kit. Anyway, subsequently, I gifted that particular kit away to somebody who was desperately in need for it, and then sort of wanted one. And obviously at that point, couldn't get the Kinetic ones anymore. They sort of dried up and they were going for silly money and all the rest of it. Anyway, Matt came to my rescue because he knows I've been after this kit for a while. Speaking to one of the PM customers who had a kit, did a bit of a deal with them, and I've managed to secure this one now. So this is the P-47D, or the sort of bubble top canopy onto it. They do a Razorback version of this one, and they also do a later M version, I think it was, which has got a sort of different tail. It's got the fillet on the tail and all the rest of it. But that's one was released, I don't know when. It's still vintage classic. I don't think Kinetic released that version. I could be wrong. But anyway, it has been done. It's got new parts to it to make the tail and all the rest of it. But again, the fuselages are different. And there is. So it's not like a modular one where they just added a bit. The fuselages are different between the Razorback and the normal one. So I thought this way it'd be quite interesting to have a look. It is, as you can see, a big old box. You've got some nice options down in here as well. So again, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 versions of it down in there as well. We've got those usual sort of American ones down in there. We've got the sort of Asian theatre as well, and a few other ones as well down in there. So on the box, you can see it's a bit of an old box, but I think it's okay. All right, so down in here, I don't know if we've got the kit number is for this one. I'm sort of looking for it. There we go. You can see the other versions that I do. There's the M, all right, and then there's obviously another version down in there, and then obviously we've got the bubble top down in version in there, and there is at some point the other one in there. Has it got a kit number for this? I don't think it's actually got a kit number. I can't see a kit number for it. I will have to have a look for that. But anyway, inside the box, you are greeted by quite some nice stuff. So we've got instructions, as you might imagine. It's quite detailed, this kit, compared to some that are out there. Giant old decal sheet, because obviously we're on 1/24. I'm hopeful that they're okay. They don't look too bad. All right. And then you are greeted by all down in here. So to give you an idea of how big, chunky this thing is. And then again, multiple bags of sprues. That's obviously the difference for the tails down in there like that. And then obviously we've got the wingy bits. And again, this is a second-hand kit, so some of this has already been opened, as you can see, and then resealed up. And again, we've got another tail down in there as well. I have to check that. Looks like we've got two the same. We've got some solid vinyl parts, which is that weird hard vinyl, not the soft one as well, for the pilot figure and things like that. We've got fuel tanks. We've got the normal sort of teardrop tanks and the paper tanks and the rudder. Clear parts, actually clearly important. We've got cockpit areas and rings and things like that. And then down in here, we've got different props, different versions, as we know, and the various parts. So, as always, we will start with the old instructions, though. So the instructions themselves, pretty good, to be honest. You've got colour call-outs for them as you make your way through as well. All right, so again, working our way through the cockpit, it is a little bit showing its age, the way this is going to go together. So think, you know, early Tamiya, sort of trumpeter way of doing it, things like that. So again, we've got various parts going down there for the instrument panel, the cockpit, but again, actually it's not too bad. I don't think you're going to have to go too far with this one. The engine, again, you've got everything you need, barring a little bit of wiring, to really liven this up. Again, if you're going to have the cowlings closed and all the rest of it, you're not going to see much. Then obviously we've got the various, you know, the exhaust system and the various coolers being fitted down there to the engine, as you might imagine. Then the engine is going to plumb all into this giant ring with the air scoop underneath. All right, so again, plenty of details down in there. Engine continues with all the bays and all the bits and pieces down in here as well, with the actual firewall system being fitted onto this one. Then that's going to back in with all the other parts. You've got wing spars and things going to be going in here. It is a big chunky aircraft, obviously being 1/24, and then that one is all going to be fitted down into this one. Then you've got your tail, which we have to check, 'cause there's two in this kit. So we want to make sure we've got the right one. All right, so with that one down in there, you've got that fillet. It's going to be going down in the back there, fitting all of that one in. And then obviously it's talking about putting the tail planes in, the rudders and the various parts down into this one. The pilot figure, we'll have a look at, see what he's like. I can't remember him from the other one. Glasswork, clearly you're going to fit that later. Nice detail with the guns as well, so you do get the 450 cals in each wing, and obviously you've got an open area for them. You don't get ammunition trays for it, but obviously if you're just going to have them open, you could open them up and probably scratch build some down in there. There may even be aftermarket for this one. To be honest with you, I don't know what's available aftermarket. I know there is an engine. There was a 24 scale engine out there, and I know there is some decals floating around for it. So again, it would be one of those ones to have a look if you did want to go down that route. All right. Fuel tanks, bombs, or obviously putting on the different types of fuel tanks onto there. We've got rockets as well for that standard sort of, Thunderbolt load out for doing low level work. Gear being fitted. And again, we've got flaps which you can position up or down with those ones. And then again, you do get ammunition. Perhaps it's just on one wing. So obviously you've got the ammunition chambers as well. So you can have it open right the way through if you wanted to do that. Same on the other wing. Then in case it's just fitting it all together, we've got big wing spars as well, so the wings will hopefully slide on, give you a very nice fit, and then you can have the belly tank fitted onto these ones, again, depending on which one you're going to be going with. And then obviously with the props, again, just keep an eye out. We have got multiple props down into this one. All right. Then you've got stencil data, not too much on there at all. And then obviously we've got the markings down into this one as well. And again, as you can see, some different options down in there with the French version, the RAF version, and the American. All right. So again, it doesn't look too bad. Kit number is VF2404. All right. So if we start with the decals, giant sheet of decals, clearly. They've taken a little bit of a muller in, but hopefully they're going to be okay. Just give you an idea. To be honest, they've taken more than muller in. I don't know if these will be okay. But luckily for us, there is some aftermarket ones down in there as well, which I think were done by Marketeer, did them. So keep a lookout for those ones, because I think there may be other stuff available for this one. I'm just having a quick look down here on ScaleMates, to be honest with you, to see what else is available for this one. Let me just have a quick look. All products. Okay, so you can get gear for it. So there is some gear available. There is some harnesses as well. HGW do some Thunderbolt harnesses for this one. There is a wheel set available for it. There is cockpit sets as well by Yoo-Hoo, do the actual instrument panels for it. One Man Army, obviously they do some stuff, but just keep an eye out because some of this does say kinetic, some of it does say. So the kinetic one is the same kit and it will fit. And luckily for us, there is a load of aftermarket decals available for it as well. All right, so there is some other options out there. Have a look around and you will find them. Okay, but anyway, these are the decals for it. If you did want to go down that way, at this scale, you probably want to spray them on. Again, purely because of the size of it and all the rest of it. And again, we've got that giant checker nose. Just ask Andy. He's been having fun with these. But again, it may be an idea if you got yourself a little bit of a cutting setup, is to go around and actually do your own ones for it. Again, you have got all the touches down in here. These ones look pretty nice, to be honest with you. Again, those ones don't look too bad. The other one's just taking a little bit of a bashing in the box, I feel. But again, those ones look all right. So again, depending on which ones you want to do, you should be fine in there. So let me just get these out of the way and move out and shipped out. Okay, let's get those in there. Okay, let's start with, we've got the gear and the figure. So the figure, say he's in a rubber vinyl, which is a bit weird because, but to be honest, he doesn't look too bad. Obviously Matt will have him for painting, but out of vinyl, that doesn't look too bad at all. It's quite a nice sculpt. So again, he's got his booty down in here. So yeah, actually, I think he's doable. He is workable. We have got these awful tyres, but there is aftermarket available for it. These are really hard. Again, they're a vinyl, so they're a little bit, yeah. But again, aftermarket is your friend. There is tyres available from, as I look up on here, Death Model do them in 24 set. They do sets of 2s and 1s and the different patterns as well. Probably going to be an idea for that particular one. So into the part, it's funny because some of these bags have been open and some are not. So the great thing about this one is that because it's slightly newer, it's actually got some nice details. So both of these are going to be the same, so we'll show you just one here. But to give you an idea of the size of this thing's going to be over sort of, I would say, 40 centimetres when it's all done. It's not small. Again, it's got a little bit of texture to this, and it has got the old sink marks. I can remember that from back in the day. What it has got, though, is some really nice details on this. And okay, at this scale, you're probably going to have stress skin effects and stuff like that. But actually, off the bat for detail, I don't think it's too bad at all. It has got the odd little sink mark. You can see them down in here. That's because obviously we've got the back of the moulding on this. So just be aware that it's not, you know, this isn't some fantastic kit and all the rest of it. It has got a few little issues. If that's going to bother you or not, it's up to you. Personally, I call that stress skin. All right, but as you can see, some nice, good details. Internally, there's not a lot in here at all, purely because it's a fully enclosed cockpit and things like that. You have got, as you can see though, cutaway in here if you did want to remove that entire piece to show off. So you have got cutaways in here for showing it off a little bit nicer. All right, so if you did want to see all that gorgeous end in detail, and to be honest, the back of the firewall and all the rest of it, some nice details in there, a little bit of wiring, actually I think it would work quite nicely. All right, so where the hell do we begin? Let's have a look down here. I'll tell you what, let's go in with the wings, because these are open. So we've got various parts down in here for the wings. So again, we do this separately. Again, you can see we've got a ton of detail from your riveting detail and all the parts down in here. All right, down in there. Very nice. And obviously we've got the underside to that wing with the detail. Nice parts. Got strengthening plates running down in here as well to give it a little bit more oomph. All right, this is the other side. So this one has the actual going the whole 9 yards, I think it is. There's 9 yards of ammunition down in here for each gun, and then obviously you've got your gun plate down in there, and then obviously this one, that one, this one. This one then fits down under here, and you can see, no, get this corrected in a minute, it's going to fit in the area. So you have got these bays for the different sections and versions going through in here, but it's a molded in place aileron, yet the bottom half is separate. I'm sure you could cut that and obviously have it as a moving aileron if you wanted to deflect it and all the rest of it. But there you go, that gives you an idea what's going on under there. And then down in here we've actually got the gun covers and a really nice insert with that plating underneath, just like that. So actually that's not too bad at all. So let's go back in now. Okay, after that it's anyone's guess where we're going to go with this. So engine details and things. So again, it's not slouching on detail, even though it's the bigger scale. But as you can see, you've got your floor, your detail, some of your exhaust work and the piping. Doesn't look too bad at all. It's a little bit big and chunky, but actually it's a big and chunky aircraft, so I think we can forgive this. And again, some details around with the engine areas. The actual engines themselves don't look too bad at all. Some nice details on here with the actual ribbing and stuff. So by the time you dry brush or give it a wash, whichever way you do it, I think you're going to have something very, very nice indeed with these. So again, very nice. Yeah. Okay, so we have got two tails here and they're both A1. So while we've got two, I have no idea at all, but we do have two. So, you know, like we always say, never lift the gift horse. Okay, so down in here, this is the fillet. Obviously, there's different versions for different ones you may be doing. As I said, if you're doing the later one, the M, I think it has like a fillet in here up to the tail. All right, but again, looks pretty good. You've got that strengthening plate down at the back. You've got the bottom of those ailerons down in here. And a big old fillet across the top there, just like that. But again, nicely recessed details all the way over. No sink marks on that part at all. So that looks quite nice. Then we've got the tails, or the tail planes I should call them. and it looks like we've got plenty of flash, which is handy because it comes off in the back. So tails, looking good. Again, it's a really nice jump off to start this one. Good, strong, beefy gear. Although how that plugs in, hopefully, I don't know, but hopefully that should slot something solid. All right, and again, down on the insides. Again, shame for a kit this size, it doesn't have, you know, any deflection on the actual tails here, so you can put them in. But again, it wouldn't be rocket science to cut these out. Then you can maneuver them and drop them and all the rest of it. So again, some nice touches with that. Cowling, we've got a cowling in the closed position. I don't know if there is one later on. It's going to be in the open position. If not, it might be an idea to cut those and then flick them out a little bit down in here. I think this is the back of the supercharger down in here. And then obviously we've got the big old slipper tank underneath. Very nice indeed. That's pretty good. I take it that's the tail wheel, which looks a little bit gnarly. So we've got the tail wheel down in here with the actual wheel itself. So again, something to look out for. Okay, we've got a baggie here with the various parts. So we've got the cockpit floor, we've got the bulkheads, we've got obviously some of the tanks and reservoirs, we've got the seat, we've got this cooler scoop as well from the intake underneath, we've got the gun barrels, or the main guns I should say, will fit down in there, and all the parts that come off of this one. We've got the engine mounts, rudder pedals, all the various parts. We've got, I assume this is going to be either the top or the underside of the cowling. You're looking at it, I think that's the underside of the cowling as well. And again, nice detail, full of ejector pins down in here, which are going to have to be taken care of. But actually, you've got some nice raised and recessed details down in that cowling area as well. So it actually doesn't look too bad at all. So this is the firewall, I assume, with the engine mounts coming down in here for the actual main engine area as well. Again, looks pretty good. Nice details down in here. It's all right. Okay, so cowlings. So obviously we've got the top part of the cowling, and then obviously we've got the two sides. So you could show it being open. So pop open these two side ones to expose the engine, which is quite nice, or you could go the whole hog and take the entire thing off. Gun area, so again, really nice options here. We've got empty, so you could actually have it empty, or you've got it filled with the actual rounds all lying down on each side, so that's quite nice. And then we've got the cover for it as well. All right, so again, nice options that you can do too, just like that. And then obviously we've got all the smaller parts down in here. The instrument panel, you probably want to go aftermarket. I don't know how much you're going to see down in there, but that's awful. That's really, you know, that's a non-starter. Aftermarket route every time down in there. And then again, you've got the different areas. So what you've got is a sandwich situation. You've got the back of the instrument panel. We've got the forward part of the instrument panel, but those are just awful. So yeah, I think if Yuma do one for it as well, or Yahoo do one, which they do, 24th scale. It was new in 2018. Get that one for it because it definitely needs it. Again, big old piping work as well for the cooling and stuff. Again, another nice touch down in there. This little one down in here, I assume, is the cockpit sides and various guns. So again, we've got the cockpit sidewalls, which again, pretty good. I think by the time we get in there and detail them up, detail painting, exhaust system, and then obviously we've got the covers as well for the actual main guns with the actual ammunition going down in, and the guns themselves. So these are the 50 cals. I don't know. Again, one of those may be worth 3D printing some replacements for that particular one. For that, because they look a little bit, yeah, I don't know. You might be able to get away with them, but I think 3D printed ones might be nicer down in there as well. And there's plenty of free ones of those on the old internet. So if you want to grab some 50 cals, I would definitely recommend doing that. Then we've got, again, another gun bay, as we said before, another ring around the front. We've actually got the plating. I should imagine that's armor plating. And again, that's why you want to do it. The barrels are awful for this kit. I know you don't technically see much of them, but aftermarket ones every time, or failing that, 3D printed ones. Again, there's some nice ones out there for now. All right, so you can get those. So that's okay. Okay, what do we got here? I think this is flax. So down in here we have the flaps A few other bits and pieces. I'm amazed the flash keeps falling off of this. It's like it's de-flashing. So again, main flaps, pretty much what you would expect. Again, a little bit of texture to the plastic, but to be honest, I'm quite happy with that. That's fine. That's pretty straightforward. So we've got the flaps down in there like that. Then we've got those wheels with the hubs, depending on which one you are. Again, I would probably go aftermarket for that one as well. We've got those, these I assume are probably for the rocket tubes, for the 3 sets on there, front and rear parts for those ones. A couple of sway braces and things like that for the actual bombs. Then over here we have got those tubes. So there's your triple launchers as well, just down in there. And the various actuators, I think these are probably for the flaps and things. Little bits of gear work down in here. And we've got the standard sort of bombs as well. All right, and you've got little fuses on the front. Again, if you do have access to a 3D printer, you've got a friend of yours, seriously, some very nice files that are free for 3D printed bombs, which are highly accurate as well. Again, little ones underneath, these are little fillets as well, so I think this is the landing light down underneath there as well, or it's obviously the observation light as well. So again, we've got those, so fair enough for that. Okay, then we've got props and I should imagine gear parts. Again, lots of bits on here. So again, main gear doors. We've got the gun. Again, they're quite nice actually because they've got the little rings around them and all the rest of it for the actual gun ports on the side. And then obviously we've got one of the bomb racks for the side. And again, it's got ejector pins, but to be honest, they're all quite shallow and easy to clean up. So that won't be a problem with those at all. I think that's okay. Exactly the same for the other side. And again, this is for that wing, the identification, depending which way it is. And again, main gear doors, quite nice. We've got no ejector pins on these ones either, so that's actually quite good. That's very nice. Then we've got the props. So we've got multiple different types of props here. This is anyone who's been looking at the mini Art 48 scale ones will know the difference. I don't. And again, you can get aftermarket hub stand in here as well. I was just looking it up on this one. It's a very nice 3D printed one by Model Monkey in 24 scale as well. I don't know if it's still about done, but it's the Hamilton standard prop hub down in here as well. So that's quite nice. Again, we've got the big old which you're going to need. In fact, I thought they'd be more chunky than this and a little bit firmer plastic, but that's actually your wing spar system running down in there. And then again, same on the other one. We've got more wing spar. This one definitely looks a little bit stronger. And again, different props, different shapes and tips. And yeah, so you P-47 guys know all about this. I know absolutely nothing. I do apologise. And then we're down in here, the last of the big bags. We've got the teardrop tanks. So we've got 2 teardrop tanks just like that, which are fair enough, big old chunky ones. That's good. Then we've got the paper tanks as well, which actually don't look too bad at all. Nice details on those. That's fair enough. And then we've got the last of the small parts down in here. So again, this is Sprue F1, some of the cockpit parts, some of the sway bracing, sorry, I should say, down in here. And the caps as well. I assume they're the rotor down in there as well for the hubs. So that doesn't look too bad. Fair enough with that one. And then we've got the rudder. And again, the rudder, big old piece. It's not showing it as posable, but again, it wouldn't be rocket science to cut that, drop that one in, take the fins off, and then you can position it how you would like it as well. All right. So that actually doesn't look too bad at all. Again, last up, we have the clear parts. So, with the clear parts, we have giant, give you an idea of the size of this thing. But again, they look pretty darn good. Again, I don't know if there's a mask set available, but at this scale, we don't really need it. All right. Doesn't look too bad at all. All the various clear parts look very nicely done. So we've got the little lights, the various little parts down on here. The wingtip lights look quite nice as well. Can't work out if that's a sync mark in there, it's just the bowl. But yeah, very, very nice indeed. So I appreciate 1/24 scale isn't everyone's cup of tea, but if you've ever done any of the Airfix type ones, and you know I did a Hurricane earlier in the year as well. So we did a 24 scale Hurricane. I've got the 24 scale Typhoon upstairs. So I do have a few 24 scale ones, which I quite would like to do a P-47 to go along with that one as well. And clearly I have got to do yet the Airfix's new Spitfire in 24 scale. So again, if you are into your 24 scales and you can't find the Kinetic one, you're looking back for these ones. They do come up, and I know Kinetic, sometimes they talk about bringing theirs back out and all the rest of it, but obviously it is just a rebox of this kit. So if you can find this one on the old interweb at the moment and all the rest of it, that's the way I would go for it. Cost-wise as well, it's worth what you're willing to pay for it. It needs a little bit of work. It needs a little bit of refining. But like I say, with these bigger kits, just like we've done, well, obviously when we've done the Hobby Boss ones, the Trumpeter ones before and things like that, they're a great starting point. You've got everything you need, everything you could ever want, just that one. If you want to do one out of the box, you've got everything there. There is aftermarket available for it as well. So if you did want to throw a little bit of aftermarket out, and again, I think with simple wiring, various things like that in the cockpit, and then in the engine, you're actually going to end up with something extra special. So if you are into your large scale stuff, this has got to be an absolute must for you. Anyway, this is the Vintage Fighter series of kits, the P-47 Thunderbolt in 1/24 scale.